the center of a garden, and the invitation for you to place yourself, flame, luminous light that you are, at the very center of your garden. And then from here, I ask you to allow the soil, its fragrance, the wind, and all that you see reveal to you how that which you wish to see grow more in your garden is also intimately weaved with the ways in which you are of service to the world, or the things that you are passionate about doing and sharing with others. So for me, as I place myself, oh, the candle went out. As I place myself as this little light at the center of my garden, I see that there's been deep yearning to come closer to the nature of who I am. And that the way that I have been going about supporting that yearning is by doing the thing that I love the most to do, which is to help others create bridges between that which in them or around them is a little bit distant from their optimal sense of well-being. And the more I come to relax into that over the years, that in this giving, I get to receive exactly what I long for the most, which is to really come closer to my true nature. This has, well, it's opened up a lot of doors, a lot of joy, a lot more access to my joy. But it's also not been easy, and I think that that's really what the aim of this sharing is about, is how do you name the aspects that are not easy, and how do you observe the tools that you have to process, to come to deal with, as a gardener, to deal with the dry patches, to deal with the unpredictable weather, to deal with needing to fortify the soil as you go along. So for me, I would, I just as I was with students, dear students, just now, and I named my dry patch as the person that I just don't like, the person that seems to be yanking my plants out and fortifying my weeds, and that person that instinctually I just want to push off, not just only of my garden, but push off of the of the entire planet. And then of course life shows you sometimes the hard way, as it's definitely been the case for me, that to choose to react, or to, it's natural to react, but then to choose to deal with a situation, with a dry patch in such a way, is only intensifying the lack of resonance or the energy from which this was created. And so then what's a new resonance that I can bring in? And this is something that I have been practicing for many years, and I continue to on a regular basis as needed. As you know, the world continuously gifts us with those whom we find very difficult to relate with. And so the way that I go about that is I see them, I see the dry patch blooming beautifully in its own way, in its own season. Not my timing, not as I wish for them to. And of course, this is not an easy practice, especially when it feels like it's interfering with your most valuable things, such as that which you plant. But it is the practice that I am asked to do in that environment, and I do it as often as I need it. And then, like the idea of the unpredictable weather, you catch yourself um, in a little bit of a contractive state. Why with someone that you really care about, that you do like, and then, well, what's there for you to learn? And for me, that lesson has certainly been about not attempting to show them the easier way as I see it, but instead to relax enough to really release everything that I think that I know, to sit in my own unknown so that I am freer to love them exactly where they are and know that they will find their way infinitely better, perhaps, than if I were to interfere, because we all have our path. Again, not easy, and I still continue to find myself having to practice that in certain areas. Maybe you think of your teenage child, or maybe you think of your parent or your partner, in all those ways that you only wish if they would attempt this, how much easier their lives would be. And instead, set that agenda aside and just be with them for what they are and treasure that gift of a relationship. And then there's also the areas where, boy, the the plants really want to come through, and it looks like all the conditions are right. But there's that sense in you that you want to fortify that soil even more, because now we're dealing with people that you not only like, but that are truly receptive to what you have to share. Saying maybe you as a guide of some sort, but of course, this is just me talking about my own variables within my garden, just as examples, which may or may not apply to you. But in this case, for me, it's interesting because for quite some time, I felt this heavy sense of responsibility that I had come upon this great wisdom, the first of all medical sciences, Ayurveda, the one that encompasses every aspect of life. And then people around me suffering, and I wanted so much to translate all this vast knowledge into ways that were practical for them so that they could use it in their daily lives. And for quite some time, it's been 25 years now, so I would say probably the first 5 years, it was just, boy, I only overwhelmed people. And then it was like another 5 years where it was happening some of the time, but I was just trying so hard. And then finally, that recognition that by simply living the principles myself, It is the most natural thing to meet the student, the practitioner, wherever they are, and know just the one little practical tool to offer them that they can realistically bring into their daily life for transformation. And so this is what I get to experience more and more these days over time through practice. And that again brings me to the point that I made earlier. The closer I am to sharing my work with ease, with flow, just naturally, without effort, the closer I come to the essence of who I am, which is what I long to have in my garden. So then once more back to you. Just now as you close this video, that you can just take a little time sitting, perhaps in your literal garden. Perhaps that's not available to you at this time, but envisioning it, envisioning what you're longing to see grow. And then what are the things that you are naturally talented in? And how do the two dance, support one another? From my heart to yours. Namaste.